I'm Victoria Norgard with a Monday edition of KNOP's Panhandle Roundup. Firefighters were dispatched to the Lake Minatare area this last Friday afternoon after a lightning strike ignited a fire north of the reservoir. KNEB reports that crews were dispatched just before 6 and they were not able to clear the scene shortly after midnight. Around 413 acres had been claimed. The Minatare Fire Department verified early Saturday that the fire had been 100% contained. The Gering, Mitchell, Bridgeport, Alliance, and Scottsbluff Rural Fire Departments provided mutual aid to the fire. And Saturday, traffic on westbound Interstate 80 was at a standstill due to a semi-tractor trailer that was fully engulfed in flames near mile marker 34 in Kimball County near Dix. News Channel Nebraska reports that the Kimball County Sheriff's Office says the fire started due to a blown tire and no injuries were reported. The Kimball County Sheriff's Office was assisted by the Nebraska State Patrol, the Kimball Police Department, and Dix Fire Department. And wildfires to the northwest are behind some very colorful sunrises and sunsets that started yesterday, as wildfire smoke has moved into the Nebraska Panhandle and into eastern Wyoming, according to KNEB. The air quality index for most of the Panhandle was within the moderate range as of earlier today, according to airnow.gov. Those sensitive to smoky conditions have been advised to limit their outdoor exposure and take other steps as needed. And a Panhandle family is asking for financial assistance after lightning hit their home. On the 6th of July, Christine and Matt Hall and their youngest son were woken by a lightning strike to a tree right behind their home. Luckily, no one was injured in the incident. However, the strike has caused major electrical system issues within the home, forcing it to be without power or water for an unknown period of time. The family is being forced to run generators or for refrigerators and freezers, using a lot of gas and oil in the process. To help the Panhandle family with costs, a GoFundMe account has been set up with a fundraising goal of $2,000. As of Friday morning, 13 donations were made to the cause. $1,355 have been raised thus far. And a Panhandle man was arrested on 4 charges on Wednesday by the Kimball County Sheriff's Office. News Channel Nebraska reports that Kenneth Childs of Dix was arrested for terroristic threats, use of a deadly weapon to commit a felony, disturbing the peace, and criminal mischief. Kimball County Sheriff David Hoddle says reports indicated that Childs swung a weed scythe at an individual while saying about hitting him with it. Hoddle adds that upon further investigation, some of the charges could be amended prior to arraignment. Childs has had multiple run-ins with the law in the past and is currently on probation. And last month, Hastings Exposition and Racing attempted to get their racing license transferred from Adams County to Keith County. In June, the Nebraska Racing and Gaming Commission voted it down 5-2 because of missing documentation showing they own the property in Ogallala. They returned to Lincoln today and received much different results as the NRGC unanimously votes to approve their license transfer.
I feel like it was a detail that just needed to be answered. There may have been some questions, with paperwork for options, the ground and things like that, but obviously it was clarified. The ownership, we satisfied the commission with every detail they needed.
Cynthia Smith says they plan on running races as Lake Mac Racetrack with Elite Gaming as their partners. Now at the check of Panhandle weather conditions, we're joined by meteorologist Andre Brooks.
Well, thank you so much, Victoria. And we saw some activity in the form of thunderstorms overnight last night into early this morning. But now things have calmed down here across the Panhandle. But we are expected to see a little bit more thunderstorm chances later on today. And our current temperatures right now are mainly in the 70s, exception there in Alliance at 80 degrees, 82 in Kimball, and 78 degrees here in Scottsbluff. And looking at the rest of the day, we're just going to continue to see those temperatures increase into the 80s with those chances of isolated thunderstorms. And once we get into tonight, temperatures will drop on down into the 70s and then into the 60s and the 50s once we wake up into our Tuesday. So Victoria, I'm here to tell you it looks like things are going to be overall quiet today, but we may have to watch for a thunderstorm or two.
Sounds good. Thank you, Andre. And in statewide news, a pair of Nebraska laws giving felons the chance to vote are in question. The state's attorney general says those laws are unconstitutional. The first law passed in 2005, giving felons the right to vote 2 years after their sentence. And then in this last session, another bill passed restoring the right immediately after prison time that was set to go into effect Friday. Mike Hilger says both violate the separation of powers clause in the state's constitution. and only the Board of Pardons can restore the right to each person. The ACLU firing back in a statement saying, "It really is this simple. We refuse to accept thousands of Nebraskans having their voting rights stripped away. We are confident in the constitutionality of these laws, and we are exploring every option to ensure that Nebraskans who have done their time can vote." And now we head across the ocean to the war that's shaken so many lives in Ukraine, and Russia's invasion doesn't show any signs of stopping. At the end of this spring, a politician from Nebraska made his 4th trip to the war-torn country, and a reporter from our sister station 1011 took an independent trip there to follow along. For State Senator Tom Brewer, it was straight from the vaulted halls of the Nebraska Capitol to the trench lines of Ukraine's 600-mile-long front. His goal this trip is to understand the war better and find out how the United States can help Ukraine win it.
The fight here is a fight for democracy. If we let democracy die here in Ukraine, nobody's safe.
Brewer says he wants to continue taking trips to the country, raising awareness and giving support where he can. You can catch the full version of this multi-part series every Wednesday on 1011 News at 10. And University of Florida President and former Nebraska Senator Ben Sasse announced he will be resigning from his position at Florida later this month. This comes after his wife was recently diagnosed with epilepsy. Sasse said yesterday he still plans on remaining involved at the university in a teaching or advising role. In his statement, he also said, in part, quote, "Gator Nation needs a president who can keep charging hard. Melissa deserves a husband who can pull his weight, and my kids need a dad who can be home many more nights," end quote. And happening today, the U.S. Secret Service Director will testify before a congressional panel about the assassination attempt on Donald Trump. The House Oversight Committee subpoenaed Director Kimberly Cheadle. Many have been calling for her to resign. The Secret Service also said they've previously turned down Trump's request for additional resources in previous years. And lastly, Hyundai is recalling about 67,000 vehicles. It's the result of 2 separate recalls. The first includes 54,000 recent Genesis, Elantra, Kona, and Veloster models. They have fuel pumps that could fail and cause the vehicle to stop moving. The second is for more than 12,000 2024 Santa Fe's. A software error in their transmissions could cause the vehicle to roll away when it is in park. Affected owners of both recalls will be notified by September 9th for free fixes. And that concludes another edition of KNOP's Panhandle Roundup. Join us right back here tomorrow as we highlight the news, sports, and weather that matters in the vast Nebraska Panhandle. Enjoy your day.